There's been long-standing, historical barriers to Native Americans having access to vote.
I guess we're good for the romanticized version of the Native American. On the horse with their hair flowing. Not like this, not as a voter.
Everybody who is age 18 or beyond should be able to vote. We've fought for this for a long, long time.
What we can't do through negotiation, we're willing to do it through litigation. You know, Native Americans have actually been the victim of the political process since the creation of the United States. First of all, the majority of the reservations, regardless of what state they're in, those counties that they're usually located in are going to be the poorest counties in the United States.
From here to Pine Ridge is like 65 miles. And then there's a lot more county to go. You know, I know it's a hardship at times for them to drive up here, undoubtedly, and that was part of the lawsuit, is they couldn't, drive up here to come vote like our county residents do. So they had to have that mechanism down there to let them be able to vote early.
Early voting can be extremely important during an election. However, on Indian reservations like Rosebud, like Pine Ridge, we haven't always had access to early voting. If we were to go back, a decade, and if I was a voter here on Rosebud living in Todd County, I would have to drive, 60 miles to, for some people, 80 up to 80 miles simply to go physically early vote. It's particularly important to have early voting opportunities available in Native American communities, which often happen to be areas of poverty. Not everyone has access to a car. Not everyone has access to transportation when they need it.
And I don't have any problems with the lawsuit because it kind of got the Secretary of State's office involved with us, and they made the commitment to fund the 6 weeks in a day early voting for all federal elections.
So we are making a change. I don't know if it's because they think it's right or because we just will never go away.
Nobody likes to be in a lawsuit, obviously, but it was for the fight to give the people 6 weeks of the early vote down there, just like everybody else gets in the state of South Dakota. And with that, there's nothing wrong with that.
It's not always the laws that stop us. It's sometimes the culture that is the biggest barrier for us to have equality. So like I said, we can deal with laws. We can't deal with people whose culture is one that thinks we're still inferior.
The county, San Juan County, decided to go mail-in ballot. My first reaction was, what about those people that don't speak English? What happens to those people? How are they going to cast their vote? Who's going to help them? Some of the Navajos who do not read or speak English probably would not be able to vote.
It's the older elders that come out and vote, and most of them don't have the English language. So you need to have them have a translator, and translating a ballot to someone it's pretty tough. Now we have mail-in, and there's a lot of difficulties with the mail-in, I believe, and due to a lot of times that the mail is late, or we send the ballot back either a day late or a couple days late, and they don't accept those. I believe, as a veteran, that you fought for your country and you fought for your people, and that those people should be able to have that opportunity to go out and vote.
We're the same people. We should have equal access to voting.
The relationships between a lot of the natives and non-natives on the reservation border towns, the relationships are shaky. There's still that Indian cowboy mentality that isn't always good. The state will never get anywhere as long as we keep pretending this mentality doesn't exist, because it does. Growing up, the biggest thing my grandma always said was, you have a responsibility to your community outside of yourself and your family. Don't ever forget that. So I do a lot of youth work, I do a lot of nonprofit work and all of that. But I saw how a lot of things tied into things at different levels, that the only way we could address it is our vote. And I guess some of the more traditional people who were like, oh, it's the U.S. government. They don't care. I'm like, you got to vote. And I said, when you guys said buffalo was our means of survival long ago, I said, that's our vote. Our vote is our buffalo now. That's all we got. We can sit home and complain, or we can go vote. And that's the thing. I always say that. If your vote didn't matter, they won't be trying so hard to keep it from you.